Well, hey guys, I hope your week is going well. So as you can tell from the title and thumbnail of today's video, I've been wanting to share with you guys a skincare routine or some practical skincare tips for those of you out there who are suffering from what you refer to as chicken skin or keratosis pilaris. I have several Q&A videos about the skin condition keratosis pilaris, what it is, some tips and tricks. But in today's video, I kind of wanted to walk you through a skincare routine for the body that can be very helpful for this skin condition. The skincare routine that I'm going to go into today can be also very useful for anyone out there who has dry skin on the body or suffers from a comorbid condition with keratosis pilaris called eczema or atopic dermatitis. This is also a great skincare routine for people who have what is described as ashy skin on the body, kind of like gray, dry patches, dark discoloration in certain areas of the body, like the elbows and the knees. This is a really, really helpful skincare routine for those types of dry skin conditions on the body. The video that I'm making today, however, does not address dry skin conditions or keratosis pilaris on the face. I'm only walking you through a routine that can be useful on the body. And I'm going to focus on 3 simple products that I am most familiar with and really like and strongly recommend. But whenever I do these videos, no matter what product I pick, there's going to be someone out there who either can't get it, it's not available in their country, or it's too expensive. So in the description box, I will list each of these 3 products and then I will list some alternatives, okay? But hopefully this video will be helpful to you guys. And I will also kind of talk you through some practical points about bathing and skincare on the body that I think, regardless of the products, will be helpful for you to understand in order to begin to take better care of your skin and address that chicken skin problem that many of you battle out there. So keratosis pilaris, or chicken skin, is a dry skin condition that happens in people who have a genetic tendency to lose water from their skin as a result of either a deficiency or just an inability to maintain a strong and tight skin barrier. Individuals with keratosis pilaris very often also have a condition called atopic dermatitis or eczema, and they are very prone to bouts of dry skin. But specifically, the condition keratosis pilaris is a manifestation of this tendency towards an inability to maintain a good skin barrier and lose water. It's a manifestation of that specifically around the skin around the hair follicles. And as a result, what ends up happening is you get a buildup of dry and irritated skin around the hair follicles that results in this red, rough bump known as keratosis pilaris or chicken skin. Commonly occurs on the upper outer arms, the thighs. However, it also occurs on the face, particularly in young children. But as I said at the start of this video today, I'm only going to walk you through a routine that will be useful for the body. So that is what keratosis pilaris is, and keeping that in mind, that underlying disease process of an inability to maintain a strong skin barrier, you have to honor that in your approach to your skincare routine on the body. And in honoring that, things that you have to avoid and things that you have to be cognizant of, I will kind of walk you through. Because you have an impaired skin barrier, you are very susceptible to what's called increases in transepidermal water loss or evaporative water losses out of the skin. These evaporative water losses lead to dryness. As a result, inflammation comes into the skin and you can suffer from bouts of itchy red rashes. So that is one problem. And then the other issue that you have to be aware of and respect is that because your skin is a little bit behind, so to speak, in maintaining that nice skin barrier, stuff that you put on your skin has the ability to cause problems for you, more so than other groups of people out there. Specifically, skincare products that have irritating ingredients. And by irritating ingredients, I mean things like fragrance, essential oils, menthol. These things put on the skin can set you up for what's called sensitization or the development of allergies, because you don't have as tight of a skin barrier to kind of ward off those untoward consequences. And also, your skin barrier does not handle bathing to the same extent that a really, really tight skin barrier or really strong skin barrier would. You are more susceptible to worsening dry skin and bouts of keratosis pilaris directly related to your bathing practices. Everybody bathes once a day, and the goal of bathing is to remove dirt, oil, sebum, maybe sunscreen on the body, and anything else unwanted. Any exogenous environmental pollutants, dirt, allergens, whatever your day-to-day lifestyle is. Maybe you work outdoors in a field site, you're exposed to a lot of dirt, a lot of pollutants, and you want to come home and wash that off at the end of the day. So that is the goal of bathing, and in that goal, everyone gravitates towards a cleanser to help and aid in removing those exogenous insults off the surface of the skin. Cleansers, by and large, help to remove all of that crud by employing something called surfactants. Surfactants are ingredients like sodium lauryl sulfate that allow those exogenous compounds to be those unwanted things to be removed off the skin. But the problem with cleansers in general is they have no ability to distinguish the good from the bad. So in taking all of that stuff off, they also take off some of your skin's natural lipids, waxes, and barrier. And as a result, cleansers can really strip your skin and set you up for a bout of dry skin. But also, water by itself can impair your skin barrier even further. So people who take long, hot showers, the hot water or just long time exposures to water and cleansing kind of dilutes out the waxy component on the top layer of the skin. And I know it seems counterintuitive. I'm telling you that on the one hand, the problem that you have is a result of losing water out of the skin, but on the other hand, I'm telling you that putting water on the skin is actually going to make this worse. But the approach to your body skincare routine should balance maintaining skin hydration with excessive cleansing and subsequent dilution of that waxy barrier. So my recommendation for bathing is to limit your showers to no more than 10 minutes. Don't use excessively hot water, and don't use excessively harsh soaps or detergents. The other tip is that if you think about your body and you're really strategic with your cleansing, depending on what your day-to-day activities are, there are certain body sites that benefit from the use of soap, particularly in these sites. Under the armpits, in the groin area, under the breasts, if you have a lot of skin folds and skin-on-skin contact, those are areas of the body that benefit from the use of a cleanser to remove some of the excess oil and to cut down on bacterial colonization that can lead to skin problems. So those are areas that benefit. But areas of the body that really don't need soap or cleansers are your extremities, your arms, your legs, your back. Really don't need to be using cleansers on those areas unless you're specifically trying to remove a visible dirt or something, or paint or something, and you need assistance. But the day-to-day routine, water is more than sufficient. So choosing a gentle cleanser, ideally with a pH of 5.5. The reason this is important is that the higher the pH of the cleanser, the more disruptive the cleanser or the soap is to the skin barrier. As soon as you get out of the shower, as soon as you turn the water off, you've got water on the surface of your skin and you've got water in the top layer of the skin. And it can go one of two ways. And for those of you, for anyone really, if you just get out and towel dry the water off, or you air dry the water, allow the water to evaporate by air drying, that water that you just hydrated up your skin with is going to evaporate out, and it's going to pull more water out of your skin, and it's going to lead to dryness. So the goal for counterbalancing this, to counteract this, is immediately, as soon as you turn the water off, step out of the shower, onto a bath mat or whatever, and coat your entire body in a moisturizing cream. And what this accomplishes is that it will seal in that water into the skin. And people tell me, aren't I diluting out the moisturizer when I do this? No, you're not. Really, you're capitalizing on stratum corneum hydration post-bathing by sealing it on there and trapping it onto the skin and not allowing it to evaporate. And it's really hard for people to get over this idea, but I encourage you to try it, and that is to at least avoid extensive toweling of the skin or drying off the skin. The reason this is important is that you've already, in doing so, in toweling off the skin, you remove that water, that hydration that you just put on your skin, and you pull more water out onto the towel. So I actually just stand completely stark naked and cover myself in moisturizing cream and air dry at that point. I understand that's uncomfortable for many people, so it's okay to wrap a towel around yourself. You don't have to be miserable doing this, but putting that moisturizer on immediately to the wet, hydrated skin is the best approach. And then my third tip is to use a body moisturizer, again, in the evening, or at least twice a day, that has an ingredient called a keratolytic in it. And I'll get into my recommendations in a moment. But this will accomplish something in that it will help to break up those crusty skin cells that can't appropriately turn over as a result of the skin barrier impairment that are built up around the hair follicle. And you want to use these lotions ideally twice a day, and you want to use them outside of the bathing routine because the keratolytics, they should be applied to dry skin. But with that, I'll get into the products that I recommend and how to go about using them. Now, those of you who have watched any number of my videos, this will come as no surprise. The 3 products I'm going to recommend all come from Syrupy. You're like, why do you always recommend Syrupy? The reason I recommend Syrupy and like Syrupy is that Syrupy products all contain ceramides. Ceramides are lipids that are very imperative in the maintenance and regulation of our skin barrier. And in people with a tendency towards dry skin, and people with eczema, and people with keratosis pilaris, the balance of ceramides, a type of lipid, is key in helping to restore that skin barrier and strengthen it. And using ceramides in your cleansers and moisturizers has been shown for people with eczema and keratosis pilaris to be helpful for restoring the skin barrier and getting things better. So that's why I like Syrupy products. They all have ceramides in them, and they're very good for these skin conditions. So the first product I recommend is in terms of your cleanser, is the Syrupy Hydrating Body Wash. This is fantastic. Not only does it have ceramides in it, it does not have any harsh surfactants that are going to strip off your already weakened skin barrier and lead to a flare of keratosis pilaris. This is a wonderful cleanser for using in the skin folds, like I mentioned earlier, areas that benefit from using a little bit of a cleanser. Very gentle, non-irritating, and importantly, fragrance-free. That is very important. And also employs moisturizing ingredients and active ingredients that target the skin barrier, so it kind of counterbalances what you're doing by cleansing. As far as the insult of cleansing on your skin barrier, those ingredients, they kind of help to buffer that. And then the next step, as I said, is as soon as you get out of the shower or tub, is to coat the entire body with Syrupy moisturizing cream. All right, that is my favorite moisturizer. It contains the ceramides, it contains hyaluronic acid, it is fragrance-free, it also has an occlusive ingredient called petrolatum, and it also has dimethicone. And these are fantastic because they make a nice seal on the top layer of the skin to really put the brakes on that transepidermal water loss, which is what you need. Now, while I said that the products in this routine is for the body, not for the face, do know that the Syrupy moisturizing cream in the tub, which I have here, definitely can be used on the face. I use it on my face pretty frequently, and it is great there. So if you do have keratosis pilaris on the face, this routine, as soon as you get out of the shower, putting this on your face will help the KP on your face. That's all I'll talk about today, though, as far as KP on the face, but this will help that. The next product, though, is specific to the body, and the next product is a product that I love, and I think is sold with very little instructions, and I think it can mislead a lot of consumers. So that's why I want to talk about it and share it with those of you today who I think will benefit from it. And that is the Syrupy Renewing SA Cream. This is a fantastic cream for people with keratosis pilaris, ashy skin, dry elbows, dry knees. Fantastic. And I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how to use it. And it is to be used twice a day, almost as a treatment, so to speak, of the dry skin and the keratosis pilaris outside of the bathing situation. And the reason for that is you want to put this moisturizer on actually dry skin rather than wet skin. So this moisturizer, think of it as containing active ingredients that are going to target the rough, scaly, bumpy stuff, the dry, ashy skin, the dark, thick discoloration. This is something that you want to use twice a day, not only to keep that skin moisturized, but to also go to work on that built up skin stuff that's leading to bumpiness and discoloration. And the other reason why it should occur kind of outside of the bathing window is that you don't want to put these on wet skin because their active ingredients can be really irritating on wet skin and are not as useful in that manner. So this has to be used a little bit differently, but you still need the Syrupy moisturizing cream immediately after bathing. So the Syrupy moisturizing cream in the tub functions to address the insult of bathing immediately post-bathing. But the Syrupy Renewing SA cream actually goes to work to address the issue of built-up dry, scaly skin. Now together, having the post-bathing moisturizing step in place and a gentle cleanser together along with the treatment cream are really what you need to do on an ongoing basis to keep good control of the skin condition. The reason I love the Syrupy Renewing SA cream is it's got a variety of phenomenal ingredients that are a key and fundamental player in addressing keratosis pilaris. Not only does it have the 3 ceramides that all the Syrupy products have, which address the skin barrier, help your skin barrier to restore itself, but it also has 3% salicylic acid. Be careful, don't use it on your face. It's for the body, and it contains 3% salicylic acid, which is a beta-hydroxy acid that is really great for keratosis pilaris and that ashy, dry skin stuff, because what it does is it dissolves some of the glue between those dead, crusty, built-up skin cells. It helps dissolve that glue. One of the issues with people with atopic dermatitis, eczema, a tendency towards keratosis pilaris, is that they don't break down the glue very well to kind of exfoliate the dry skin. And that's part of the skin barrier impairment, is that they don't really exfoliate efficiently. So the beta-hydroxy acid helps dissolve some of that glue and allow that rough, bumpy thing to come off gently. It also contains ammonium lactate. Ammonium lactate not only functions to help to hold some of that hydration in the skin, it's a humectant, but it also is a keratolytic, so it kind of exfoliates a little bit more deeply in the follicle, in the hair follicle, where all of that stuff is building up and leading to the chicken skin. But also because it hydrates the skin as a humectant, but simultaneously exfoliates as well, it's also phenomenal for built-up dry skin that leads to discoloration and dark, kind of dark built-up skin on the knees and the elbows. It's great in those areas, really keeps it hydrated and will help you brighten it up. And then the third ingredient that the Syrupy SA cream has is cholecalciferol, which is actually the active form of vitamin D3. And vitamin D3 applied topically to the skin, we use a lot in dermatology for conditions associated with kind of scaliness. It is the active ingredient in prescription creams for psoriasis. And it is present in this, and so it can kind of the way it works is it helps in controlling some of the choreography, if you will, of how the skin barrier turns over and the biology there that goes to work in creating that barrier that helps keep the water in your skin. You want to keep the water in your skin. You want to keep it hydrated and healthy. You don't want it evaporating out. You don't want it evaporating out and diluting out that waxy lipid layer on the skin. That's really the goal in your skincare routine. So that's why I love the Renewing SA cream. And the way to use the Renewing SA cream is actually to use it twice a day. And to use it kind of outside of the bathing window. You get out of the shower, you immediately put on the Syrupy moisturizing cream. You allow your skin to dry. Maybe you get dressed. I don't immediately get in bed. Maybe you do. I don't. But I don't immediately get in bed. But right before bed would be the time to go ahead and put the SA cream on for the evening time. And this will help in starting to break down some of that crusty built up stuff. Just make sure you put the SA cream on and then allow it to dry on there before you go hopping in the bed. And the time it takes for it to dry will vary depending on where you live in the world and what the humidity is like, but it doesn't take very long for it to dry on dry skin. So just put it on and then you can get into the bed. It can go, for example, if you have KP on the arms, and go on the arms. It really doesn't have to go on the entire body, however. It can just go to targeted areas where you have dry, scaly, built-up stuff, or specifically where you have the Keratosis Pilaris. So if you've got it on the thighs, it can go there. If you've got it on the upper arms, it can go there. It just can't go on the face. This is not for the face, again. But it can go on those body areas to begin to slough that stuff off. So this is the cream that's going to slough. That's why you want to do it kind of outside of your bathing window. And then the following morning, if you're like me, I don't bathe in the morning again, then you can just put it on again before you get dressed, when you wake up in the morning. So putting it on twice a day really capitalizes on it. But it really doesn't matter, when during the daytime you put it on. If you want to put it on later on in the morning and earlier in the evening, that's fine too. There's no magic window of time. So think of the Syrupy SA cream as the product that's going to address the rough and bumpy stuff, the scaly built up stuff, not the product that's going to necessarily address your total body hydration needs, your total body moisturizing needs. Think of it as more of a product with an active ingredient that's going to go to work specifically at that dry built up stuff. And bear in mind that it should be applied onto dry skin so that those active ingredients can work optimally on that dry built up scaly stuff. Whereas your plain moisturizer, in this case, in this routine of what I've mentioned, the Syrupy moisturizing cream, that is intended to address your total body moisturizing needs and should be applied on wet skin immediately after bathing. But a note about the Syrupy SA cream, it is not appropriate to use if you are pregnant. It contains salicylic acid in it, which is contraindicated during pregnancy, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos. So it's not safe in pregnancy. It will, because it is breaking up some of that crusty stuff, it's going to allow more sun to enter your skin. Some of that crusty stuff actually gives you a little bit of SPF, so as you begin to remove it, then more sun can get in and can increase your chances of a burn in those areas. So make sure that you also protect your skin from the sun, wear a sunscreen throughout the day, or wear long sleeves if you've got this on your arms. Make sure you're not exposing your skin to the sun. Then the final thing to know about the skincare routine is it's not something you can do and then stop. It is not going to cure Keratosis Pilaris. It's not going to cure eczema. It's not going to cure your dry skin needs. You need to do it on an ongoing basis. And that you have your genetics to thank for. There's not really an intervention to undo your genetics. So bear in mind that if you're somebody with this condition, you have a genetic tendency to have difficulty with your skin barrier, and you need a specific routine kind of like this, or some variation on it with products that I will list in the description box down below. But anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.